Today in this video, we'll be answering the question, can the Sony A95K look like the S95B in game mode? The Samsung S95B, now can that look like the Sony A95K in game mode as well? So the reason why I wanted to do this video is to highlight the different philosophies that these companies are taking with their game mode and to kind of give a little bit more perspective to people that are thinking about buying these TVs that are maybe coming from one of the other TVs in the past. You never know what your upgrade path is, but I think that those that are coming from a Samsung TV that are used to these saturated colors out of the box, they're going to be a little thrown off by the Sony A95K's colors when they get the game mode up and running. I think one of the biggest complaints that we have gotten with Sony OLED TVs for game mode is that it is maybe a little undersaturated and the colors look a little bit dull and lacking at times. But thankfully, there are ways to fix that for those people. And on the flip side, maybe some people are thinking that Samsung TVs are a little too oversaturated and just there's too much juice going on in game mode. So if you are coming from a Sony OLED where you're not getting that same look out of the box, then maybe that will be a little bit of a thing that throws you off. So I want to show you how you can achieve these results on both TVs. It is really important to dial in these TVs, and once you do dial them into your liking, I think you will notice that they are very capable, and when I see them side by side and I have them set up a very similar way, I can barely tell them apart. And as per usual, I will have all of the links for the TVs we're talking about today in the description below. This is one of the best ways to contribute to the growth of this channel, and I really do appreciate you guys if you use those affiliate links before buying any TV, sound system, gaming console, or really any product at all. I appreciate you guys so much for doing that. Thank you. And yes, for those prospective buyers, if you're buying a TV in just for game mode specifically, it is really hard to recommend the A95K over the S95B just because of the price tag. There's no doubt about it, the A95K is a really great TV, but when it comes to that price tag, I can't really justify anybody spending the money difference on the A95K if it's specifically just for gaming. Because if it's just for gaming, the S95B will serve you well. It will do everything that the A95K can do and more with the extra features that you have available to you, like Game Motion Plus and the game bar where you can see your FPS counter and be able to adjust things on the fly. You also don't have to jump through the hoops with HDMI 2.1. As with the S95B, you have 4 ports available to you, and you don't have to do any extra adjustments with the settings in order to get things working correctly like you do with the A95K. So those are two things to keep in mind when you're talking about buying a TV for gaming when it comes to these two TVs. Now, those of you still getting the A95K because gaming is more of a secondary thing, or you just like gaming as much as you like the movie experience and you just really want what Sony delivers on the movie side of things, then you can still have a very similar look to what the S95B has, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a little bit. But I just wanted to make sure everybody knows that, yeah, when it comes to these two TVs visually side by side, the game modes are virtually identical, but not out of the box. You do have to make a few tweaks in order to get them to look very similar. So let's look at the Samsung S95B right now. Out of the box, you will notice that contrast enhancer is on high by default. I always recommend trying to turn this off just to see if you can dial in the picture to look really good without it, because I do think that contrast enhancer can add a lot of different artifacts to the picture in terms of color clipping and things that you just might not want. I am aware though that some people will like contrast enhancers, so give it a try and see if it is for you. But it is on by default, so if you think that something looks off with game mode on the S95B or really any Samsung TV, it's because they put contrast enhancer on high by default. The other thing that you'll notice that they do is they crank the color. All right, now let's look at how the A95K handles things. So the A95K is more of a natural look for its game mode out of the box, and you will notice it looks very similar to how the custom setting looks. So they are going for more of that natural look. It's not going to be bright and poppy like you would think a game mode would look like. And so I think this could throw people off that are used to something like a Samsung game mode, especially if they didn't make any adjustments. It's also worth noting that things like advanced contrast enhancer is off by default, so this is a different approach entirely than what Samsung takes with their game mode. So if you see an out of the box comparison between game mode versus game mode and they didn't make any adjustments and you think that the S95B is brighter and more poppier, that is why. So as you can see on the screen right now, I did reset the TV settings for game mode on each TV. And you can see the dramatic differences here on game mode. Now, the thing you'll notice right away is that the S95B looks brighter, more colorful. It doesn't look natural like the A95K, and it just seems like it is very saturated. Now, some people might like the way that looks, but let me tell you, that is certainly achievable on the A95K. So this side-by-side image here out of the box, yes, this is what game mode looks like out of the box, but it is a little misleading if you demonstrated this to somebody to say what the TV is capable of in gaming, because both TVs are capable of the same result. And let me show you how to achieve that result right now. First, let's take a look how to get the A95K from Sony to look close to the S95B from Samsung in game mode. Now, I am going to show you two different methods, like if you're going to use contrast enhancer or you're not going to use it. The one important thing to do first is going to be adjust the color. The color is going to be the most important thing when you're trying to match the S95B's game mode look. The other important thing is going to be switching gradation preferred to brightness preferred. This is going to be the method that you're going to want to use the whole entire time you're gaming if you want that brighter look. You're going to get a brighter experience using brightness preferred. So use that if you are going for that look. Now, color, you're going to switch the color to 60. And once you switch the color to 60, you'll notice it is a very similar look now on the screen to the S95B. You could maybe add a little bit more, arguably. Also, you could use live color if you feel like you need more as well. All right, as you can see on screen now, you have a very similar look, but something is still off. You'll still notice the S95B appears slightly brighter, and this is something that is probably tied to the over-brightened approach that Samsung takes with their game mode. Even after the updates, it does appear to be a little bit over-brightened. So to match this look a little bit more on the Sony, you can raise the gamma setting, and you can see now it's a little bit closer than it was before. So if you like that look, go for that, try that out, and let me know what you think. Alright, now let's make the S95B look like the A95K. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do here is you're going to reduce the color to 16. Yes, take the color from 30 to 16, and now you are matching the color on the Sony very closely. And the other thing you're going to want to do is turn off contrast enhancer. In fact, turn that off first before you adjust the color. It's not going to make a difference unless you have them side by side to know how to match the color, but just turn off the contrast enhancer, reduce the color, and then you'll see that, yeah, you're getting a very similar result to the Sony TV. Now, the other thing that you might notice is that it still does appear a little bit brighter than the Sony because the S95B is a little bit over-brightened in game mode. Also, the gradation preferred method is using kind of a different tone mapping algorithm than what the S95B is using for its dynamic tone mapping. You're seeing more of that brightness preferred approach taken by Samsung from the looks of it when it is side by side. Now, I don't have any definitive facts on this. This is just my observations, and that's kind of what my eyes are telling me here. If you take away some of the ST2084 slider settings here, you will notice that it is going to get closer to what the A95K looks like. You should probably just tick it down 1 or 2, and you'll probably be happy with those results. If this is more of your style of picture, you should try that out. If you feel like you're seeing some clipping here and there, you're going to want to reduce the contrast setting on the Samsung, but note that when you reduce the contrast setting on the Samsung, you will reduce the brightness of the picture overall. So keep that in mind. The other thing I wanted to add for S95B owners or potential S95B owners is that you do have picture mode settings. You can have presets dialed in. So you can have one that is this more out of the box poppy look. If you want that for, I don't know, more colorful games, maybe that's something you're going for. You don't want that realism sense. Or if you're playing something more realistic, you can go for something like that A95K look if you are playing more a realistic game. But I just love how you can have different presets on the Samsung TVs. This is something I really hope Sony does in the future. So, hey, let's keep bugging them about their lack of game mode features, and maybe they will bring something like this to us. All right, well, let me know in the comments, did you guys like this video or did you find it helpful? If you did, please hit the like button and consider subscribing for more future content and side-by-side videos. Also, if you guys are looking for a full A95K versus S95B side by side, I did do one of those, so check that out right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.